What's up guys? Welcome back. Today is my second wedding makeup trial that I'm doing here on YouTube. I've done quite a few over on TikTok, so if you follow me over there, you're probably already well familiar. If you missed the first video, I'm getting married in 10 days and I am still trying to solidify my makeup that I will be doing on my wedding day. Yes, I am doing my own wedding makeup. So without further ado, let's just dive right on into this. It's so humid here in Ireland. I've tried to pull my hair back to keep it out of my face, but even just the baby hairs, they don't want to stay down. I've already done my skin prep, so before we put on primer, I'm going to start with eyes. I know I said I hate doing that, but I think it is good just to carve out the eye area and really just make the brows pop. I'm getting my brows done next week, so they will definitely be more symmetrical, not so unruly, and just looking better. Because right now, it's been a minute and they're looking a little crazy. So I'm just going to try and fill in the sparse areas with this e.l.f. brow pencil. And then I will use a brow gel just to really hold the brow hairs in place. I'm just going in with this NYX brow glue. This is a tinted one. I really like this. It's like the only one that I can find that really like holds my brow hairs in place. My only qualm with this is that it does kind of leave a bit of a sheen on the brows, which I'm not obsessed with. But if I set my brows with powder afterwards, it's pretty much okay. On a flat brush, I'm just going to pick up some concealer and we're gonna start carving out the brows. Again, not something that I've done since literally like 2016, when that was the vibe, where you had the super carved and defined brows. But I feel like if there's ever a day to do it, it's probably your wedding day. And whatever's left on the brush, I'm just dragging down over the lids. This is going to really help prep my lids for eyeshadow. I will be going in with the Urban Decay eyeshadow priming potion just because my wedding is going to be outside. It's gonna be hot and sweaty, and I just really kind of need like the extra bit just to help really make sure that eyeshadow doesn't go anywhere, if you get what I'm saying. So just taking that Urban Decay priming potion and priming all over the lid, going back in with that same brush and just blending that right over. Now taking my Hourglass number 12 brush, I'm just taking a really light shade, basically just like a creamy white, and just really packing that all over my eyelid. Even though we have that really light base already going, this is just going to even it out and make it a bit more opaque. Now, the problem that I had with my eyeshadow look on my last trial was I ended up like making it a bit too neutral instead of just trusting the way that I like it, which is like the nice, warm, rosy coral shades. So I have my Patrick Ta Major 2 Dimensions palette here. I'm going in with this really pretty peach shade. I actually don't know, well, the names are on the back here. This is kind of going to be my base. And I really am just bringing this sort of almost all over the lid, leaving just the very inner corner. Then dipping into the next shade here in the palette. This is more of like sort of a warm, kind of like rosewood shade almost. And I'm working that into the outer third, just dragging it down kind of along the lash line and making sure that the look is still like lifted, so it's kind of snatching out and just a bit in the crease. Already liking how this is going. The next shade I'm going to pop into is the third shade, so we're kind of just like working our way down a little bit, and I'm just taking that same brush and blending out. I'm not bringing this one really up into the crease, I'm more kind of just keeping it along the outer third of the lid and just blending. I'm then taking this sort of more flat brush and I'm going in with the next shade, which is more of like a deeper, sort of like reddish brown. I can't speak today. keeping that closer to the lash line. And we will just go through afterwards and really blend these all together. And I just mixed a bit of that more pink shade and that rosewood shade just to deepen up the outer third and really help blend all those shades together. Then I'm going in with that really nice light peach shade, which was the original shade that I used, and just buffing over all of that, because this is going to kind of help neutralize those super red tones and just make sure everything is nice and seamless. On an angled brush, I'm going in with this chocolatey brown. There's actually some brown liners in here as well, like some creams. So I might pick up a cream in the palette. And I'm actually going to brush that under along my upper waterline. Now dipping into just the regular shadow. There's still a little bit of cream on this, but not a ton. I'm starting to kind of stamp that close, super close to the lash line. And I'm just working my way all the way to the inner corner. And there will be just a slight wing to help keep the eyes looking lifted. So something like that, and I think I am gonna add a little bit of sparkle. I've got a couple options here actually in the Patrick Ta Major Dimensions palette, but I'm thinking this really pretty pink shimmer. Like, we'll add a little bit of pink there. I do have a couple other options as well. I have a really pretty, like, champagne type shimmer in this palette, which is like very pigmented. So I love that too. I think we're gonna try a bit of both. We'll do the pink more on the part of the eye that has more of that like pinkish shadow. And on the inner part, I'm just gonna start taking this champagne color and bringing it up to meet the pink sparkle. And of course, highlighting the inner corner. This is really what's going to kind of like catch the light in the wedding photography. So I didn't want to skip out on doing a bit of shimmer. I think I am going to try my luck with some individual lashes. I'm going to put a bit of Hourglass mascara on first and then try and do the individuals over that and see how that happens. The ones that I have are these ones here. So I'll try that and I'll do that off camera because it's going to take me forever. I've just gone in there with the Photo Finish Smooth and Blur. So we're going to have a poreless face. And then I'm going in with this Prep and Perfect Ultra Grip Primer. Like I said in the previous video, this is a dupe for the Milk Makeup one. And I really need something that's going to hold my makeup in place because it's going to be hot and sweaty and everything is going to be sliding around otherwise. I'm going to take this Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter and I'm just going to apply a bit of this to like the high points of the face and anywhere I want just a little extra glow, and just blending that out with a sponge. This is a really good trick that I actually learned on TikTok. If you put Aquaphor where your makeup creases, it's supposed to really help prevent that creasing, and I can confirm that definitely does work. I think you're actually supposed to use like the balm stick, but I don't have that. So I just use the one that I have, which is the balm in the little squeezy tube, and I just put this in all the places that my makeup tends to crease. So like a very light layer though, because you obviously don't want it to be too heavy and make your makeup slide around, but I tend to crease here because I have a dimple, see, and then it never goes away. And then of course like under the eyes. So I just use a very small amount and I do that before concealer. Now the last time the foundation was a little too dark, so instead of just mixing the dark and the really light, I'm using the dark and like the medium shade. And I'm gonna go in with the medium shade first on the back of my hand with a pump. And then I'm gonna mix in a bit of the darker shade in there. And I'm really hoping that this will come out better than yesterday. Last time it came out just like a bit patchy and I wasn't that into it. So I don't know if it's because my foundation brush is a little too stiff and I'm used to like a beauty blender that can really glide the product around, or what the case is. But I'm working a little faster today with the foundation because I think I was too slow yesterday and it started to set, and that's definitely not what we want. I think what I need is like one of those brushes that literally just looks like a paintbrush, you know, like the flat foundation brush. Following that up with my Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Concealer. And this is going to really help clean up the under eye area and just smooth out and really like chisel out the eyeshadow. And I'm just using my Hourglass concealer brush and kind of stippling that in. And I'm letting the product sit under my eyes the longest so that it kind of just thickens up a bit and will provide a bit more coverage. And then just to lighten up the center of the face a little bit more, I'm going in with my Laura Mercier Real Flawless Concealer, and I'm just placing that here. And I'm going to use my sponge to blend that all in. The goal is to have like bright center of face, but I don't like it when it's like, you know, really stark white in the center of my face. I think this is good. I am going to go ahead and do my first round of setting with the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Airbrush Spray. Now that that has set a bit, I'm going in with this blush here from, this is actually a MAC blush, but I use it as a cream contour, and I just really like this because I like that it's sort of a pinkier undertone contour, but still cool. I don't like the gray, but I also don't want it to look too warm either. I'm just gonna go in with a cream bronzer. I don't really have one that I love in particular. This one is just a Catrice one. And I'm actually going to just take my foundation brush and really pack that in to kind of get more of like a defined, sort of like snatched jaw. This will kind of act as a bronzer and a contour. And this is just the Be Perfect liquid blush in the shade Just Peachy. And I'm just going to go ahead and blend that in. I'm in between this shade and the new Patrick Ta She's the Moment. They're both really similar, so I could even potentially like mix the two. I just love how this looks though. This is such a nice color. It's so underrated. We'll take just a tiny bit of the She's the Moment by Patrick Ta. It's very, very similar. Now I'm curious as to how this eye look is going to go with this. I don't want it to like clash too much because the eyes were definitely more rosy and the cheeks are more coral. So I'm playing around with some different looks here. Now we're gonna set all those cream products again, and then we're gonna move into powder. I think if I was to do this eye look again, I'd stick to more of like the peachy shades. I ended up throwing in like more of a pink shade towards the end, and I feel like that just threw off the vibe, but we're just rolling with it now. So anyways, moving on into powders, I'm using this Bare Minerals loose bronzing powder. This is like extremely pigmented. So I'm just dusting it a bit on the back of my hand so that we don't have like a shocking amount come out on the brush. And I'm just patting that in, not rubbing because I don't want to move the products around underneath. Going over the blush with my Dior blush in the shade Coral and just picking that up on my Hourglass number 2 brush. I think this is the blush brush, not mistaken. And I'm gonna bring some of that blush up in like to the eyebrow area. Love that. I feel like I could use a little shimmer though, so I'm gonna go in with this Catrice blush. This is their oil infused. And I'm just gonna throw a little bit of that on this smaller brush. I feel like that just added a little bit of like a nice dimension and shimmer. So let's go in and set the face. I'm using the Huda Beauty in the shade Pound Cake, just for the lower half of my face. So we'll let that sit for a second. I also use this one on the forehead, over the brows and down the nose. And then for under the eyes, I go in with the Givenchy Prism Libre. This is the pinky one. Love this. I just like a bit more of like the pink under the eye. I feel like it really marries in the eye look really well too. And I don't really bake under the eye, so I'll just dust that away, anything extra. And then I'll go out and just dust out the cheek. Now sometimes after I do that, I feel like I lose a little color right in this area, so I'm just gonna go in with the Patrick Ta and just lightly, very lightly, so we don't end up with like a ton right in this area. Just dab. Same with the nose. To add some additional highlight, I'm just going in with this little Revolution highlight. I feel like now it's time to tie in the lower lash line, so I'm just going in with this shade here in the palette, that second shade, which is like that more rosewood color. And when I try to do this look again, I'm just gonna steer away from that super pink shade. It might work though with the lipstick that I'm gonna do today, so we'll see. Now we are finally on to lips, so I'm going in with my Makeup Forever lip liner in the shade Rubber Walnut. Now, because this is such a rosy look, I am going to go in with this Milani Honey Rose lipstick. In the center of the lip, I'm going to go in with this Nude Cream from Milani. This is just going to kind of brighten it up a bit, just in the center. And then I'm taking this NYX Cocoa liner and just gonna go around the lips. Time for the final face setting. This is the Till Dawn Waterproof Mattifying Setting Spray. So this is the completed look. I am really happy with it. This may or may not be the final bridal makeup trial. Subscribe and follow along for more. If you're doing your own bridal makeup, I really hope that you found this tutorial useful. Thank you so much for watching.